Ezra Weston Loomis Pound was an expatriate American poet and critic, as well as a major figure in the early modernist poetry movement. His contribution to poetry began with his development of imagism, a movement derived from classical Chinese and Japanese poetry, stressing clarity, precision and economy of language. His works include Vribist's Hugh Selwyn Mauberley and the unfinished 120-section epic, The Cantos. London during the early 20th century as foreign editor of several American literary magazines and helped discover and shape the work of contemporaries such as T.S. Eliot, James Joyce, Robert Frost and Ernest Hemingway. Angered by the carnage of World War I, Pound lost faith in Great Britain and blamed the war on usury and international capitalism. He moved to Italy in 1924, and throughout the 1930s and 1940s he embraced Benito Mussolini's for publications owned by the British fascist Sir Oswald Mosley. During World War II, he was paid by the Italian government to make hundreds of radio broadcasts criticizing the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt and Jews, as a result of which he was arrested in 1945 by American forces in Italy on charges of treason. He spent months in detention in a U.S. military camp in Pisa, including 3 weeks in a 6-by-6-foot outdoor steel cage, which he said triggered when the raft broke and the waters went over me. Deemed unfit to stand trial, he was incarcerated in St. Elizabeth Psychiatric Hospital in Washington, D.C., for over 12 years. While in custody in Italy, Pound began to work on sections of the cantos. These were published as the Pison Cantos, for which he was awarded the Billingen Prize in 1949 by the Library of Congress, triggering enormous controversy. Largely due to a campaign by his fellow writers, he was released from St. Elizabeth in 1958 and returned to live in Italy until his death. His political views ensure that his work remains as controversial now as it was during his lifetime. In 1933, Time magazine called him a cat that walks by himself, tenaciously and housebroken and very unsafe for children. Hemingway wrote, "The best of Pound's writing, and it is in the cantos, will last as long as there is any literature."